What if you could create cinematic world shifts with one prompt? Pixverse 4.5 recently dropped, and it's not just an upgrade, it's a true creative weapon. From ultra smooth character motion to spellbinding restyle control, this version's got power most creators haven't even unlocked yet. In this video, I'm breaking down every major feature with real tests, side-by-sides, and some surprise fusion tricks you've never seen before. I'm Jessica with the Real AI Agents, and today I'll be walking you through everything Pixverse 4.5 has to offer. But first, I'll let today's agents show you exactly what you'll find in this video.
I hold the keys to Fusion, where your transitions flow like magic. Let me show you what's new.
From scene to scene, I keep your characters grounded. No more glitches, no more guesses.
One style's never enough. I'll show you how to reimagine your footage in seconds.
Timing is everything. Let's run the same prompt, both peak and off-peak, and see what changes.
Think 4.5 can't beat the rest? Let's put it to the test. Old models, other tools, all side by side.
Okay, so let's hop right into Pixverse. And full disclosure, I am a creative partner in their creative partner program, but Pixverse is not paying me to use this tool and tell you guys about it. This is just how I use it and my opinions on the tool. First off, let's talk about the new feature that they added, which is the ability to now use Fusion. So if we come into Create, you're gonna see in the left-hand bar here, we've got this little button for Fusion. So let's go ahead and select that Fusion here. And you can see we're on model 4.5, and it brings up this box where we can upload our own picture or we can play around with the samples that they have here. So for example, let's take this dog and then we choose the second part here, and let's go ahead and say the forest. So we're gonna put the dog in the forest here, and let's bump this up on the quality. You have some options on resolution anytime you create inside of here. You've got the 360, 540, 720, and 1080. Let's go ahead and just do a 1080, and we're going to have our size aspect ratio set at 16:9. And you can see that now one of the really cool things about 4.5 is it only costs 80 credits to generate on 1080 instead of the 120 it cost on V4, which is still the case even if you switch over to V4 now. But let's go ahead and create this. And you see I didn't put a prompt in there. I just did the dog and the forest as the subject and the background. While that example is generating, let me show you how you can use your own images for this. So if I come in and I go to this little upload right here, I can simply bring in an image. So I brought in this image here of this woman with the glowing glasses and the glowing necklace on, and I'm going to give that a name. So let's just call her, we'll call her Sophia, and I'm going to choose a category here. So I want her to be the subject of what I'm about to create. And then I can actually choose one of their backgrounds, just to show you how this works. So we've got Sophia and the beach. So I'm going to put that Sophia is walking along the shoreline at the beach. Let's go ahead and generate that. Now let's say I don't want to use their image. I'll come over into Midjourney and I'll pick something like this here. We'll go with this. All I have to do is pull that right on in. And now you see, instead of it saying the beach, it says at pick 2. So I can change that by hitting the little pencil here, and I can put something simple like portal, and then I can choose this as the background and save that. And now you can see that it says Sophia is walking along the shoreline at the beach. So instead, let's say something like Sophia is walking out of the portal. Let's generate that. While that's generating, let's take a look at what that puppy and forest did here. So we can see it actually brought in 2 puppies, which is interesting. That could be because our size aspect ratio is 16:9, and it's just trying to fill the scene there. But either way, extremely cute there. It did take it directly into that background, and that puppy looks exactly like it was supposed to. So when you click on the video, you can actually see what images you were fusing together here using the Fusion. So if we look here at the Sophia character, which it did nail her exactly, she's even got the glowing glasses, the glowing necklace. She is walking along the shoreline of that beach. From the subject property here, you can even see the little structure in the background there is the exact same. The flow of the water is very natural. Her walk is extremely natural on that. So you see how you can take two very different things and mash them together in this fusion tool. The possibilities really are endless with that. So if we look here at, it's still actually generating that one, but while that's generating, let me show you some examples of what I did when I had early access to this tool. So to do that, I can come back here into my assets. So here's one of the very first ones I did. I took that Suno image from our last video with the woman playing the guitar in the alley, and I grabbed that same beach scene. So you can see, even though it is a different scene than what we just saw in the other fusion video, it does still have the structure, the water, the sand, the trees, and it brought her right in, and she is playing the guitar on the beach there. It even brought in the glowing aspect of the cyberpunk kind of feel to the original image there. I thought that was really well done. So if we take a look here, you can see where I brought in an image of a very almost cartoon-like style image of a female DJ with her turntables in an ancient forest. And then I just brought in my own beach scene with some footprints in the background and the water, nothing else really behind it in that scene there. And I fused those together, and you can see how it actually created the DJ on the beach playing with her turntables there. It kept the character exactly as the character was in that neon DJ image that I put in there. So I was very, very impressed with that. So far, in all of the tests that I've run with Fusion, I have not had any not come out similar to what I was expecting them to look like. So if we come back and we check out the fusion we did here with our own picture in Sophia, you can see again, her outfit is a little bit different than the other one, but I actually prefer this outfit, I think. The material is a little thicker on the skirt there. It doesn't turn into pants like it did in the other one, but she still has those glowing glasses. It is definitely our Sophia character here. Very natural walk coming out of that exact portal for the image that we just brought in from Midjourney. So you can see for yourself how powerful this fusion tool really is. It's absolutely amazing what you can do by bringing in your own subject or character and your own background and using the fusion to put them together. It gives you a lot more of the ability that you need to actually direct the scene instead of prompting it with text to image prompts or text to video prompts and trying to get close to what you're imagining. You can now take the two parts of what you're picturing and just fuse them together into one seamless cinematic video inside of this fusion tool. Now that we've covered fusion, let's talk about how you can take a consistent character and put them in any scene that you want when creating inside of 4.5 here in Pixverse. So if we come over to the toolbar again, we're going to leave Fusion and we're going to head right down here to this character button. You can see that I've already got a couple characters in here, but I'm going to go ahead and create a new character. So if I hit this plus button, you see it brings me to this screen where I can name my character and I can upload my image of the character. Just drop that in there and you can see that it's uploading. And then I can give this character a name. Let's call her May. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this create character here. And then you can see that when I choose the character button here, I can select May right from there. And I know that that's the character I'm working with then now when I put in a prompt to create this video. So for me personally, when I'm using this character, I always put their name in first, and then I follow it with a comma and I put my prompt in. So for example, on this one, I'm going to say the character's name, which is May, and then I'm going to give a brief description of my character. She's a beautiful woman with long wavy blonde hair and bright blue eyes. And then I'm going to tell it what I want the scene to be about. So you can see that I have her sitting at a modern desk in a dimly lit tech workspace, a glowing monitor light reflecting on her face, wearing a sleek black tank top, focused expression as she types on the keyboard, ambient LED light in the background, cinematic, soft glow, realistic skin texture, and high detail. So let's go ahead and generate that and see how close we get to our May character here. And I will run 2 more prompts of different activities. Again, each time starting with May, comma, the description of the character, and then what I want to happen in the scene. So now here we go. Remember, this is our character May that we put in with one image. Keep that in mind. One image of May. We didn't train the whole model. We didn't put in 15 to 50 images. We took one picture and kept her consistent in these. So let's take a look at her on the keyboard here in the office. Definitely has the blonde wavy hair, the black top here, same glowing skin as our character. I mean, that's pretty spot on. She's got 4 fingers and a thumb on both hands, 100% usable there. Next up, we've got her on a roller coaster. Definitely the blonde hair, looks like the same character to me, beautiful blue eyes there on the roller coaster. And then you can see we changed her outfit up here and said we wanted her in a black sundress walking on the beach. And again, if we check out our character May versus the character video that we just created there, spot on. One image created that character that I can use anytime I go in and use it. So for example, let's try something. All of those examples were pretty realistic to something you would see in real life. So let's put her in more of a sci-fi kind of environment here. And again, even if we wanted her to be in a longer scene where we wanted to go up to the 8 seconds, you can see that 8 seconds is not currently supported on 1080. But if we hop down to 720 here, we can choose 8 seconds. Let's go ahead and widen our screen a little bit there. And let's just run that same prompt and see what we get. Remember, if you have any questions about Pixverse and how to use it like in general, we do have a video from a couple months ago where I really broke down the whole platform, and I'm going to link it right up here for you. Okay, so here we go. We can see that we have May. Here's our picture of May right here. And then here she is in our sci-fi scene. So you can see it doesn't have to be 100% realistic. It will still maintain that character consistency in whatever story you're putting your character in. So that has been such a game-changing tool for me personally when creating videos. Since I use consistent characters with my agents frequently, it is beyond helpful to actually have a system that I know I can fall back to if I'm having an issue with character consistency, and to know that off of one image, Pixverse will pull it off almost every single time I put it in for a character video. So here we go. If we look at the 16:9 one here, you can see very close to our original May character there. Still has all the sci-fi feel to it, very unrealistic environment behind her, but really kept the cinematic integrity and her overall look almost perfectly in line with the character that we had put in as our reference image there. So that is character inside of Pixverse 4.5. You just want to make sure that you're on the right model up here when you choose your model. Just to show you, if I come back to assets here, my agent who introduced the character consistency that we have, you can see where I named her Nyx Valerie, and I use her as a character here. So you can see how similar that is to our enchantress. And then if we look here again, same character, different scene, much different scene here with her riding horseback in an ancient forest, but still the same character. So you can see where the possibilities are endless with character inside of here. So far, you know about Fusion and you know about character inside of 4.5. Now let's talk about restyling your videos. So if we come back over to the toolbar, we're going to come right here to this restyle button, and you can see that it has some options. It's got lots of different styles that you can use to create your videos. So for example, let's say we want to go ahead and take our video that we just created of May in the 16:9 format right here. Actually, we'll take this one because it was 1080. So we've got this 1:1 aspect ratio video of May right here. There's an AI behind her there, so that'll be good to see in the restyle. Now you'll notice that on this one, it's only available for the V4, but I have so much fun playing with it that I just wanted to share it with you guys in case you wanted to just play around with it yourself some in here. You guys know a lot of people complain about like templated added fun stuff like this in systems, but I think it's cool to play with. And if you're just using it for fun and, sharing it with friends and stuff like that, it's perfect to get in here and play with this. You can pretty much put yourself in any situation, which can make for some really funny text, right? So if we check this out really fast, all I have to do is hit the little paintbrush and I can pick whatever style I want. So let's say, for example, I want to see this in felted art. I could do that and then I could hit create here. You can see it's 60 credits to do that. And then let's switch it up and we'll do the Baroque here. And for the third example, we'll do this new one here of the origami. And while those are generating, I will show you, I actually did run some of these already with this image here of, you can see it's a video of me working with the AI. This was created in just standard motion, 1080, version 4.5. And when I restyled it, I got a whole plethora of videos here. Okay, so here we go. Our videos are ready. So this one here is the restyle with the felted art. So you can see definitely changed the entire video here. It's no longer really our character May. This time she's got some glowing golden eyes, some brown hair, but you can see her outfit does look like it is made of that felt kind of material that you get at the craft store. And then here for this one, which was the Baroque, we can see it really made her almost like a sleek AI, but it did bring in a lot of the gold and very ornate look to the background there. And then here we go. We've got blonde hair and blue eyes on this one, so that's cool. The origami, you can see the whole background really does look like it is created out of the origami paper. So pretty cool if you think about, of course, it's not on V4.5 just yet, but to be able to go in there and take this video here and turn it into all of these different versions, I think is pretty cool. You could tie those all together and probably make a neat little music video or something like that, or a story if you wanted to with these. So we've got fusion, we've got character, and we've got restyle down. Let's talk now about this peak versus normal. What even is that? So if we come up here to image or text, you can see you've got a button up here that says normal or off peak now. So let's go ahead and put in a prompt. This is just similar to our prompt there of May on the deck of a spaceship kind of vibe. We'll leave it at 16.9. And you can see that if we bump it up to 1080, it's going to cost us 80 credits to generate this video, this 5-second video. So if we bump it up to 1080, we can see that it's going to cost 80 of our credits to generate this 5-second 1080p video. So let's go ahead and hit create. And for this part of the video, I'm leaving the screen up so that we can see in real time how long this video takes to generate. Again, remember there is another Pixverse video we have over on the channel. So if you want to go check that out, you can learn all kinds of other tips and tricks and prompting styles and stuff like that that we've covered before. And of course, if you want to know more about any of these Gen AI tools in the future, be sure you go ahead and give this video a like, share it with somebody who you think would be interested, and leave us a comment about what you loved in this video or what you'd like to see us do in the future down in the comments. Your interactions really help the channel to grow and really help bring together a community of people interested in these amazing Gen AI tools. Okay, so there we go. Real time, that is how long it took for it to produce this video here. Let's give it a look. Okay, she definitely has a weird little AI helping her here. She's got the holographic interfaces, the screens behind her. You can't really tell if it's on a spaceship or in just a high-tech office in the future, but you get the gist there of what we're going for. Now, that was on the normal creation. Now, if I hit this off peak here, I can run the same thing with off peak by toggling on this off peak mode. And you can see that right here it says, when you enable off peak mode to generate videos during low demand periods with up to 50% credit savings. But here's the catch. The results take about 24 hours to deliver typically. Now, I will say for me, I found that it normally takes somewhere between 12 and 14 hours to see it. It may be a little faster than that, and that's just the gap in between when I actually log on to see if they're done yet. But it does definitely take longer than, just that couple of minute creation there that you've got. So if I were to create this one, exact same prompt, you can see it would cost me 56 credits versus the 80 credits from before. So if I hit generate on that, you can see that that's running there. It won't be ready by the end of this video, I can guarantee that, but it will be ready in the near future. But let me show you an example. So when I got in here yesterday, I went ahead and set up a couple videos on the off-peak versus the regular so we could check them out. So let's hit this back arrow here and let's come down to my assets. So right here is the video that I created yesterday on the quick normal generation here. And you can see the video. She pulls the wand up. She has the correct hand style here, 4 fingers and a thumb holding it properly. Her facial expression turns to the smile. Her tattoos all stay exactly as they're supposed to. Her necklace still has the glowing galaxy in it there. That was made in about a minute and a half, maybe at most. Versus the same prompt, I ran it twice on the slow mode. So each of these cost me 56 tokens off peak. But you can see exact same here. We've got 4 fingers and a thumb. The quality is around the same as what I got on that fast generation. So if I didn't need this, let's say, for example, I'm putting together a music video and I'm not actually going to be piecing the clips together until tomorrow or maybe a couple days from now. I could run these and I feel confident in knowing that I'm going to get a very similar quality to what I get running it on normal, but it's going to cost me much less credits and it's going to allow for me to be able to use those credits that I've saved for the fast generation if something doesn't come out properly. But to be able to run all of that off peak has been really helpful to me as a creator, being able to come back. So you can see the video quality is just as good there. And I ran it twice. Both of them had very consistent look and quality. This one was a little bit duller. I'm not a huge fan of this one. And we can see that that video that I just created is still running off peak here. So that's one way you can save yourself a couple credits if you're trying to really get a long project done and every single generation really counts. You can also bump up your create count here. So if you want to create 4 videos at a time, you can do that. I could do that on the normal or the off peak. You can see that for the normal creation there of 4 videos would cost me 320 credits and off peak would cost me 224 credits to run those. So that's a pretty significant saving of credits there. If I was just trying to get a certain video for a project I would be coming back to in the future. So now that you have the hang of all of the new features inside of Pixverse 4.5, and now that you know about the off-peak and normal creation and the restyling that you can still use on V4, let's take a visit back to some of the older models and compare them to what we're getting with 4.5 now. So the best way we can do that is to come up here to image or text, and let's get rid of this prompt. So I'm going to put in a prompt. I want a woman walking out of a portal into an enchanted forest vibe for all of these videos that we're going to test in here. So I've got 3 prompts that I'm going to use. This is the first one. I'm going to make sure that my ratio is set to 16:9. Again, if you want to use the camera motions, you've got that available in there. I have it set on 1080, which is what I want, and I have it on V4.5. So let's go ahead and make sure that we turn off our off-peak mode here because I want it to generate quickly for us. So even though it's going to cost me 80 credits, it's totally worth me blowing through all of these credits to show you guys exactly what this tool is capable of, because it really is that impressive. And I know that if you start using it, the videos I'm going to see coming out of AI creators are definitely going to level up. So love that. Definitely think it's worth checking out Pixverse if you haven't explored the system yet. So let's go ahead and create that. And now let's bump it down to version 4. So you're going to see that this one's going to cost me 120 credits. So 40 more credits credits than what we're getting out of V4.5 here, but let's go ahead and generate that. And then just for funsies, let's do a V3.5 as well. We'll really kick it back, and that's going to cost me 120 tokens as well. Unless you're looking for something very specific that one of these other models is going to give you, why would you use it at 120 when you can use the new one, which is going to create better video for less tokens? But this is just to show you guys the example of the test side by side here. So it's worth those, 240 credits on the old models to actually be able to show you what the comparison is of 4.5 to 4 and 3.5. So here we go. This is our version 4.5 ready here. So we've got a woman. She kind of walked to the portal and turned around. Not exactly what I was going for there. I was hoping that she would actually walk through the portal from the other side, but that's okay. It's still a very cool video. It did follow the instructions very well. I probably could have been more clear on her direction in the prompt, and I could have used those camera motions to probably create a little bit more of a pull out from the scene that would have helped. But here is the version 4. We can see that over here where it says the model. And you can see she's kind of walking into the portal, but doesn't quite make it there. A little bit lackluster on how clear the scene is in the background. Definitely has more of a matte feel to it than what we had there in the 4.5. And here we go with the 3.5. You can see you get much more of like kind of a cartoony, almost anime-like style with 3.5 here. Now, let's say, for example, I take that prompt and let's compare the 4.5 video generation here to what I'm able to get out of Luma. And while we're at it, let's try it from Pika as well. Since those other systems are generating, let's throw in the second prompt I have here on the V4.5. And this time, let's also run that one on V4 because those are the two latest models and what most things are still running on in here. So for your transitions, your templates, all of the speech, that kind of stuff is all going to be found on either V4 or V4.5. So it seems most logical to test those two against one another. And then let's change it back to 4.5 and try that third prompt I have here. And again on V4. So Pika is done over here. So let's check that out. You can see there, she is actually walking out of the portal, but the quality is not great on that. Now, if you've seen my Pika videos in the past, you know that sometimes it helps to rerun it on Pika. So we'll run 2 retries over there to see what we get if maybe the 2 second versions are better than that first one. That first one was pretty disappointing on that. That's not typical of Pika quality, so definitely want to get a fair comparison there. And then you can see Luma is still dreaming over here. But if we come back to compare the 2 prompts that we just put in, we've got our V4.5 here with a different woman walking out of the portal into the forest. This is at least close. I could get probably some editing done where it would make it look like she is actually coming out of the portal instead of that. That's a good walk away there. Versus V4, which it kind of looks like her head was backwards there to start, and then she turns and walks towards the portal. That just has a very awkward feel to the beginning there on the V4. And then that third prompt here, V4.5, we can see the clarity of the character is much better. She definitely seems to be turning and walking out of the portal. All of the extra creatures that were put in are pretty cool there. I really like that one for the version 4.5 on that prompt. I think that worked really well. And if we look at the same prompt on V4 here, we can see she's walking into the portal again on this one, so not following direction as well. There are no cool addition of characters or creatures in the forest there. So very lackluster on the V4 when I revisit that. And thinking about it costing that much more in credits, I just personally, unless, like I said, you're looking for something very specific, don't find myself going back to visit V4 very often now. And here we go. We've got our Luma video to compare. So there you are. Again, a little off on that. Now, it's important to remember that when I prompt for these other systems, I have very specific ways of prompting them. I tell you all about those in the videos for that particular system. So don't really judge this as a comparison exactly, because I would not typically put the same prompt in all three of these generators. I would have a different prompt structure for each one that would produce a better video in the end of what I was looking for each system. For example, this is how I would have prompted Luma to get this video. This is how I would have prompted Pika to get the correct video, and this is how I would prompt Pixverse to get the correct video. That's why you need to make sure that you've got those notifications turned on so that you're getting all of my videos when I give you those tips and tricks for each generator. I'm not guessing at this. I use these every single day. I've developed these prompting styles over years of using these systems now. So save yourself the headache and just take some of these tips and apply them to your own video creation, and you'll be off to the races so fast in creating AI generated content. And that covers everything that I wanted to go over with you today, guys. There's a ton of other features and tools available inside of Pixverse. If you don't find what you want to know about on our old video and this video, let me know in the comments what you want to learn about inside of here, and I'm happy to create a video on that topic. I really appreciate the support that you guys give me on the channel. I hope you find these videos helpful. I hope you're motivated to go out and create something beautiful and amazing and super cool using Gen AI. Thanks for spending some time with me today. My name's Jessica with the Real AI Agents, and as always, keep looking towards the future.